I can't get over this color coordination.
All white.
All white.
And every time I wear all white, it's the only time I spill something.
See, my problem, my toxic trait is like, I don't need a napkin. And then it just...
Right?
Today, I am talking to the inspiring, the multifaceted Jordyn Woods. Jordyn was born and raised in Los Angeles. She's a serial entrepreneur, an actress, sister, and friend. With the launch of her latest clothing and lifestyle brand, Woods by Jordyn, she's committed to using her platform to promote body positivity and self-confidence, while leveraging her influence and creative endeavors for positive change. Together, we're chatting about flexing your creative range, the ups and downs of building a business, life and love in the spotlight, and how to become the creative director of your life. Hey, Jordyn girl.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm curious because I am entering my ask for help era. So I'm an entrepreneur and I'm the oldest. And I feel like I just grew up kind of being like, I'll just do it myself, and burnt all the way out. And so now I'm in this, you know what? Help me. I need all of the help. And I want to ask you, what era is Jordyn Woods in?
Honestly, I can relate to that 1,000,000%. I think it's asking or being very specific with who you ask to help and what it is.
Mhm.
I think for me, I'm so used to trying to do everything myself because I want to make sure it's done a certain way. And then if you ask the wrong person and it's done wrong, you have to do double the work. So I'm really just in stepping into my power
Mm.
era.
Tell me more about, I'm like, wait a minute, we can't just stop there. Okay, stepping into your power. I love that. Especially as a recovering people pleaser myself. I feel like sometimes stepping into my power feels like some boundaries, feels like I actually am not going to do that anymore. What does it mean for you?
It's hard. It's hard always being the people pleaser and then finally saying no or creating that healthy boundary. Then all of a sudden you're the villain.
Mm-hmm.
So to some people, maybe I'm in my villain era, but truly I feel like that's how you develop the most peace in your life is starting to please yourself and not everyone else. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to do it just in every aspect of your life, whether that's your family, your friends, your peers, your coworkers, just really standing up for yourself because you have to stand up for yourself or else no one else will stand up for you. So you have to really channel that power.
Absolutely. And the irony is that it's like if I give and give and give, eventually they'll stop taking. And it's like, they're not going to stop taking, girl. So it's
No.
like you have to stand up for yourself.
And then your cup will be empty.
There's nothing more. So take me back. How did you get your start in entertainment, fashion? Where did it all begin? Take me back. How did you get your start in entertainment, fashion? Where did it all begin?
So I grew up in the industry. I grew up in LA. My father was a sound engineer for television. So it was always something I was around. And then it just happened really organically. I feel like being around my friends, social media, growing up in an era where social media kind of became a thing, and then being in the right place at the right time. And then when I turned 18, I signed with a modeling agency, moved to New York.
Not only a modeling agency, the modeling agency, Philomena.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved to New York. I moved to London. I really just threw myself out there in a way of like, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to try it out. And it developed me into the woman I am today. But that's really, truly where I got my start and found more of who I was. And I'm still figuring out who the hell I am.
Absolutely. I mean, when you talk about kind of stepping into your power and figuring out who you are, is that for you something that starts, internally, or are there like external events that you're like, "Ooh, I don't know how I feel about this situation."
I think everything starts internally because even if it's externally, you still are reactive to something or there is the domino effect.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like if something happens externally and then the domino effect internally, I'm someone that is an overthinker.
I'm an overthinker too, and I've started, I got great advice, which is like when you're in the bed at night and it's over, think about the lesson and then, like, let it go because I will think about it, Jordyn, for, like, days, and it's like, "Oh, she said this, and I coulda said that," and it's like what my friend told me, she was like, "Everyone's their own main character, so you're
Mhm.
over here stressing and, like, you're a B character in their lives," and it kind of took, I don't know, some of the pressure off of it for me. What does kind of, like, that reframing or, like, self-care or, just the maintenance, what does that look like for you?
Well, I read a book called The Four Agreements, and one of the agreements is don't take anything personal. So, piggybacking off of what you said, everyone is projecting their own insecurities. Everybody is really focused on themselves and what they're doing, what they're working on. So, really don't take anything personal because at the end of the day, most of the time it has nothing to do with you. So, one, don't take anything personal. And two, just learning to be reflective and to let go. I think those are 2 important things to be able to acknowledge whatever has happened in your life, accept it, and then let go and let good things happen. For me, I feel like if I am harboring on something, that's what I'm going to attract. And if I focus on the good things, that's what comes to me.
Yeah, it's so good. It's like being optimistic, the world becomes a more optimistic place. Being pessimistic, you're like, "Everything's gonna go wrong." I
It normally
and it
does.
yeah, well, speak on it. It's
But
true.
also you have to allow yourself to feel.
Mhm.
It is okay to not be okay too. I'm just always so positive and everything's like so upbeat and I've overcome so many things in my life, but at the same time, you have to allow yourself to feel and allow yourself to be in that dark place and heal from that because through dark times in your life are the only time that I feel like I've developed strength and I've learned and I've gotten better through adversity.
You've got such a grounded spirit. It's like but it's also paired with kind of, like, I'm a Scorpio, I know you're Libra.
Yes.
And I get from you kind of, like, very, like, curious, but also, like, "I'm gonna see." Like,
A little
a little
chaotic, a little
yeah, it's a little chaotic, but it's very put together,
I
it's
when people tell me no, I'm like, "Why?"
right.
And now I need to go see why for myself.
I can see that in your eyes, it's like, "Okay, Imma go see for myself."
I got a little bit better or a little bit more mature, but especially when I was a little bit younger, curiosity killed the cat for real.
Give me an example of when curiosity killed the cat.
Honestly, it's just like even with guys, if someone is like, I don't really like him," then I'm like, "Why?
Mhm,
Let's
mhm.
go see.
Right.
Why?"
Oh, I was very much like, "Red flag," but let me go to the end of the road and let me see. Let me see. And I loved what you said. There was a quote about Carl where you said, "It might be nice to date a nice guy."
Yeah, I'm like, maybe this is what God is sending me, and I just need to go with it.
Yeah, we're gonna come back to Lover Girl Jordan because she's my favorite. She's in bloom. But before we talk about Love Jordan Girl, let's talk about your businesses. And so I saw the interview you did with my friends at Earn Your Leisure. We're at the warehouse. You were talking about first place. You're talking about all of your endeavors. What has it been like building this business in public? What have you learned from being an entrepreneur? I know there's so many lessons, but what has it been like for you?
Entrepreneurship is hard. It is so rewarding, but it is definitely challenging. You have to be on the clock 24/7. There's no like people are like, "Oh, I want to be my own boss because then I can control my hours." But in reality, you are never off. There's no controlled hours because it's 24 hours.
Mhm.
And it's also hard just clothing is also a challenge.
Mhm.
Creating clothes, the trends are always changing. The manufacturing, the time, everyone wants everything. And right now, I've kind of just put things on hold to handle stuff in my personal life just because there's so many things going on. But I get so many messages all the time like, when's the next job? When is this coming? When? And it's stressful, but it
Mhm.
is also such a blessing to be in the position to be able to have a business and put out things and make people happy. And for me, ultimately, I feel like my brand is a lifestyle brand. So I don't want to put it in a box. Obviously, we make clothing, but we're open to making
Absolutely.
everything.
Well, speaking of being a creative, you landed your first acting role, you were on Grownish. What was the biggest challenge and reward of kind of stepping into, being an actress?
I feel like as someone that's a social media influencer or people see on social media, people you have to work 10 times harder for people to take you serious in something in a sense of like when people are so used to seeing you one way, seeing you in a different way can be a hard adjustment.
Mhm.
So for me, it's something I had fun. I'm always about just try it all, do it all. If you hate it, you never have to do it again. But I think I want to get back into it. It's been a while.
I mean, the people are rooting for you, they would love to see it. You should do
Yeah,
it.
why not?
I mean, speaking of becoming whoever you've worn so many hats, Jordan, like designer, model, actress, influencer, entrepreneur, singer, the list goes on, and I love that because I refuse to be one version of myself my entire life. It's maybe unfair to ask you, but when you think about your legacy and your impact, what do you want that to be?
That's been kind of a theme of me the past couple months because I feel like I am in a transitional period where I want my purpose to feel bigger than me and I want to make an impact on helping people. I feel like that's truly my purpose. So, really, what that looks like and how I'm going to get there, your guess is as good as mine.
Ooh,
I'm
I
just
can't wait.
I'm in like that master planning era where I'm really ready for what's next and just developing who am I? What does that look like? And I'm excited to see what comes of that as well.
Yeah, and I think the beautiful thing is, like we were saying, it doesn't have to be finite. So it's like,
Hmm.
here's who I am right now. And I kind of got a word for this, like in between. I call it the waiting room because I feel like we're kind of waiting for something to happen. But similar to like a doctor's waiting room, it's like there's books in the waiting room, there's new
Hmm.
people in the waiting room. Like it doesn't have to be this kind of like stillness,
Yeah.
passiveness, So in your waiting room, what kind of like what's inspiring you as you kind of move towards your journey?
Well, I just moved. I just got a new house and I'm really excited about all the renovation and everything going on with that. I think that's also why I feel like I'm in a transitional period because there's a lot going on like at home. And I don't know, I really love interior design. And so that's been heavy in my waiting room. And I don't know, just self development, really taking time to get back in a good routine. I think routine is everything. And when I'm not working out, I'm not in a good mental space. So really getting back on like my routine, working out. And then I don't know, what would you say is in your waiting room?
I just moved too, so I love, like, having my own house and kind of, like it took me a while to realize I could do whatever I wanted because I was, like, asking a lot of permission of, like, "Should I paint? Should I do it?" And they're like, "It's your house."
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm building a
You're like, wait, I
library,
could do anything?
anything. I can paint it, so I'm building a library, I think also in my waiting room is, like, more hobbies that I'm not monetizing because I think we just live in a society where it's like, "Oh, this should be a brand, and that should be a brand."
Hmm.
And so, girl, I'm signing up for watercolor classes. It's gonna be
Oh,
painting,
that's
you
nice. I didn't even
know?
know that
Yeah,
existed.
you can sign up at, like, your local, like, community colleges, and they're, like, easy, and it's just something I never would do traditionally, which is why
Yeah.
let me just try
Step
it.
out of your comfort zone
And
for
do it.
sure.
A while back, I saw you said something, and I really related to it. You said, "It's hard for me to be satisfied." Is that still true? Because we can say things and be like, I don't feel that way anymore." Or have you found pieces of satisfaction, where you are now?
Depends what we're talking about, but I would say within myself and my career, I'm not I don't know if I'll ever be fully satisfied. I just feel like there's always more. And learning to be able to celebrate your wins is something that I am trying to adapt, but I do feel like we grow up and especially I don't know if you grew up in this type of environment, but it's always like, "Oh, what are you working on? What are you doing?" It's like it's not really about how are you doing. So I feel like that's where that mindset of constantly having to be doing something came from. And I hope that I get to a point where I'm like, oh, I can just feel like I've reached every goal I've wanted to. But then where's the fun in that?
Mhm. I wanna talk about your lover girl era. I love you and Carl. I know you all met in 2020, and I just take me back because I think the origin story, starting with friendship, is the best way to start. And I know that you've said, initially, just a friend to me, like a brother to me,
Yeah, I
but
did say that.
which every man is like, but
But it genuinely was like that. It really was. And we didn't meet in 2020. We started dating in 2020. We
okay,
met, I think, in like 2017.
okay.
And we were friends for years before. And then we just started talking more. And I was in a time where I wasn't really like open to anyone. I wasn't talking to anyone, not even friends. I was going through my own life and things happening, and I was very closed off. And I saw one day he got in a car accident. And so I reached out to him because I'm like, you know what? He's always been super sweet to me. I want to make sure he's fine. This is messed up. He was fine. We ended up talking for a long time that night. And then we started talking like every other day. Then we started talking every day. And it was very like talking to your, I don't want to say homegirl because it's not like talking, but like talking to
Yeah.
your friend.
Right, right.
Um, and then our families got cool. Like he was playing video games with my brothers and like talking to my sister, getting lunch with my mom. And then his mom got sick with COVID and she passed away. And because I had experienced something similar with my father, just naturally being there together in that moment brought us together. And then it's been 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are the 4 years, are they flying, or does it feel like
Feels like we've been together forever, and then it
yeah.
also feels like just yesterday. It's
Mhm.
a little bit of both.
It's like, I don't know, I just feel like a businesswoman in love is my favorite combination because I feel like it inspires
It's also
creativity.
hard
Ah, uh-huh.
to find the balance in everything. It's not impossible, but when you're in the right situation, then I feel like everything just should flow.
Mhm. I mean, in terms of balance, is that a goal for you, or are you like in every season, something's gotta give?
I think I'm a Libra, so it's super important to find the balance in everything, but I do feel like sometimes you're going to exert yourself more in certain seasons and other times things will come easier. But Carl's super successful in his own right and he has his own life and I try to be there and be as supportive as possible with still maintaining my life and the things I have going on. And I live on a plane.
You do.
I
You
I'm in
do.
Minnesota this day, LA tomorrow, back and forth, but that's what I said. It's the beauty. Well, one, it's a luxury, it's a blessing, but two, we don't have kids. This is the youngest I'll ever be. I have the ability to go back and forth and be here today and there tomorrow and all over.
Who inspires who with the sneaker game? Because
That's we just talked about this today.
I really need to know. I'm like, "Ooh, Jordan." I'm like, "Ooh."
So I always liked sneakers. My dad was a big sneakerhead, but Carl definitely enables me because he is a size 20.
Oh, so
So
everything's
he
custom?
can't, yeah, he can't go out and buy shoes.
Oh,
So
wow.
when he's like, oh, new drop, I'm just going to buy them for you because I can't buy them for myself. I have like 20 boxes of shoes that just showed up at the door like 2 days ago. I'm like, I don't want to sound ungrateful because I'm excited, but where am I going to put
Where's it
this?
going?
Where is the space? Yeah, but it is a blessing.
Mhm,
He enables me
mhm.
a lot.
You've been on social since you were 13. You've been in entertainment since you were a little girl. Like, how has it been navigating a relationship in the public eye? Especially in the age of social media where I'm sure a lot of people are like, "I know you. I wanna talk to you. I feel like I'm a part of your life." What is that like?
I would say I have a really good relationship, which the foundation is friendship. So luckily, I am not the type of person to say, this will never happen to me. I'll never be in this position. I think anyone is capable of anything. But luckily, I have someone who I truly believe is not going to embarrass me. So that has helped tremendously, having a relationship in this era. But also, I feel like something that I see on social media now is like, okay, where's the ring? Where's the engagement? Like every time I post, everyone's like, well, you should leave him. He's not going to do it now. Or like, whereas I'm like, I'm
Oh,
26.
right. Why is everyone trying to
I'm
rush
not saying
you?
I don't want it. I would be happy whenever the time comes, but I'm not going to leave someone because it's not here when you want it to be here.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one thing I've been seeing a lot where I'm like, I get it. Everyone's like social media auntie and cousin and everything. I get it. And I want that for myself too. But it's just like the pressure of always like, okay, now you have a ring. Where's the kid? Where's this? It's like, whether it's me or the next person, I feel like people put so much pressure on other people's relationships.
Over time, do those comments affect you less? Because you're still a human. I mean, I'm sure you still look at things and you've got a safe space to land, but is it like, oh, I was just trying to share a moment of happiness?
Back to that, don't take anything personal. I think people are just projecting. At the end of the day, there's some days that I'm not having the best day. And those are the days I'm like, let me not read my comments. Most of the time, it's okay. Um, and those tough days, I just don't look. But like you said, we are human. I feel like I'm a very confident person, but I also wear my insecurities really well.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I appear super confident doesn't mean I'm always super confident. But, I feel like it's just the nature of it all.
Yeah. You have such a grace about you. I feel like you've been able to move through so many things with such a, because you're 26?
Mhm.
It is not like, it's giving, "I've been here before." It's just, you know what?
I've
You're not very.
always been kind of the same person, though, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, like, it feels like in in a world where you could be very reactive and very, like, it just kind of feels like you take that pause and reflect on how you actually wanna approach a situation. Have you always been that way?
Pretty much. And I
Uh-huh.
would say it's my discernment. I would say I'm really connected to my faith in God. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? This is bigger than me, or you got to take a step back. Most of the time, if you go to sleep and you don't react, the next day when you wake up, you'll have a more mature answer or
Mhm,
response. Emotions can get really high. And I'm somebody that can be very emotional, very sensitive. But I just try to not live in that.
mhm, mhm, and, I know we were talking about boundaries and being empaths and, like, absorbing, but there is something about, like, I'm gonna feel these things, doesn't mean I have to react.
People want you to react. A lot of
Ooh,
times they do things off
yes.
of you reacting.
Mhm, and then you don't, and they're like, "Wait, there's nothing to see," like,
Yeah.
next. Now, I heard you're working on a debut album. I heard some music is coming out, Jordan. Tell us more.
Maybe.
Okay.
I just it's really just a passion for me.
Mhm.
I'm just having fun. I
Yeah.
was on The Masked Singer in 2019,
Uh-huh.
and ever since people are like, "Where's the album?"
Well, you did the
And
song for
so
Carl's birthday or no, for
I
your 4
did.
years.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So I think I'm my biggest critic, so I was really scared to even put that out.
It was
But
great.
when I got such a positive reaction, I'm like, you know what, maybe I should put some things out. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Jordan, you are a gem. Thank you so much for joining
Thank
me
you.
today. Can we cheers that money is on
Cheers.
the way?
Money is everywhere,
Absolutely.
and it's for us. We're manifesting.
Thank you so much for listening, and thank you to Spotify for producing another amazing episode. Remember, embrace your story, celebrate your wins, and keep pushing boundaries. For more unfiltered conversations with Black creatives, subscribe to CultureCon Uncut on Spotify. And if you're feeling inspired, tell a friend to tell a friend.